Time for another Friday read. So let's talk about what I have read, what I'm reading, what I hope to read next, and I have a little book haul and a little sort of unboxing, unpackaging. So lots of fun, random stuff in this video, but we'll start like normal. So what did I finish? I have finished Shuggie Pain. Let's talk about this briefly. I'm very done thinking about this book. I actually forgot that I had to talk about it with you guys. This is a book that is very good in quality in terms of its representation of the things in it, which is addiction in parenthood, how that affects a younger kid, poverty, sexual abuse and assault, growing up gay in the 80s in Scotland. There's a lot of stuff in this book, and the parts that I can identify with, that like I have the representation to review as an Own Voices reviewer, spot on, a little too spot on. Like, I've actually never been triggered by a book. I've read many books and I've been lucky enough to have never been triggered. I was triggered hard because it was so on the nose. It really set me spiraling into my past. So proceed with caution, but also know that he did a very good job. But also this was obviously, through interviews that I read, a very cathartic experience for, I think his name is Douglas? I can't remember, but for the author, there was many years of his life he spent writing different scenes, I think, to help him cope with his own upbringing, and that really comes through. I think even if I could remove my emotional experience, I still couldn't give this a 5-star, because I just think it's a debut, and there are some things that I feel like are debut author things, like the transitions were really clunky, and I felt like some of the choices in plotting were a little bit like, I don't know how to describe it, but I didn't like how he chose to hop us in and out of the story, if that makes sense. So there were certain execution things that I know, assuming that I hadn't had a viscerally negative experience reading it because of my own history, it wouldn't be a 5-star. It's going to be a weird one for me to rate because I rate on enjoyment, and my enjoyment was not high, but it was nice to talk about at book club. Definitely had a whole range of emotions because the material is very real, it is very dark, and you know, some people are better able to consume that than others. But I did it. That's a book I finished. I also finished The Mad Ship. I finished that last night. And I already have Ship of Destiny on my Kindle, and I want to wait a bit to read it because I have other things like on my radar that I want to get to, but man, it's so good. Like, that series like reminds me of before on the bookish internet when you'd like pick up a long fantasy and you'd just like read it for weeks and like love being with these characters, because it's like a pretty like slow to medium paced book. I think you spend a lot of time with these characters. Like, it's an 850 page book, but I think it's paced really well. I don't think it overstays its welcome, and I didn't mind slowly reading it for like what, 2.5 weeks. I don't know how many of these videos I've talked about The Mad Ship on, but I loved it. It was so good. I'm so excited for the next book. I need to figure out how to wrap my heads around that so I can make like a spoiler video about that. That's not happening this weekend. I'm going out of town this weekend, so I'm not putting extra pressure on myself. You only get 3 videos this week. But Mad Ship was really great. So glad I read that. I also finished 2 other books, but they're going to be in that vlog I'm talking about for the Asian Readathon. But I finished The Ghost Bride, and that was pretty fun. I definitely compile my thoughts, I think, a bit better in that video, although it's going to be a really hard book to discuss because it has a tonal shift, and the tonal shift is related to a plot point, so I can't talk about it without spoiling this plot point. But it starts off one way and it becomes something else, and I personally liked both things, but it took me a while to adjust to the other thing, and I feel like that mileage is going to vary dramatically for readers who pick it up. But I was so glad I picked it up. It had a section at the end on like notes, which gave me even more information about Malaysia, which is partially why I picked it up. So that was really great. And let's see, I also finished the book novella by Nivo, The Empress of Salt and Fortune, and I already bought it on Kindle and bought the sequel because they were on sale yesterday, which, you know, should tell you that I had a pretty good time, and I'll talk more about that in the vlog. So, what am I reading right now? Well, this kind of gives you a sneak peek into the haul, but I'm currently reading Anne of Green Gables. Yes, I bought a copy because, as you heard in last week's video, I love Anne. I haven't gotten to read much more of it. I had to really focus on Shuggy Pain and Mad Ship. That's where my attention was. And I had the version from the library, and it had a bunch of typos, like I was telling you guys about. So I just got this copy, and it's so small and so cute, and I'm very happy. So I'm about a third away through this, and I'm excited to get into this a bit more. I'm also reading Wild Seed. Guys, why have I been dragging my feet on Wild Seed? Wild Seed is so good. This is by Octavia Butler. This is in the Pattern Master series. This is a very confusing series because normally my rule for series is read in publication order. But this one, the first book, I think might have been the last one published in the series. I don't know. It's very confusing. But this is the book that's always sold as book number 1. It's the book that they've been reading first in the slow read for the Octavia Butler thing run by Njiri and Tati. So that's the one I'm starting with. And I found out if you have Amazon Prime, and at least in the US, you can get all 4 books, like right now as a Prime read. Like it's free, just put on your Kindle. So that's awesome. But there's this 5th book that was only printed once. It went out of print. Octavia Butler didn't like the work. I think it's called Survivors or The Survivors. And I've only been able to find it from one place, from Sister Sci-Fi, to get the ebook of that. And so I got the ebook of that. So that I literally went to find all of these because Wild Seed is like, it's the writing style I love. I'm so there. I'm so ready. I was dreaming about it. I'm very invested, and I'm only 4 chapters in. So I'm hoping I really like this series. I just have no idea where it's going, but I really like the authorial voice. And why have I waited 2 years to read another Octavia Butler? Why did I do this to myself? I don't know. This is the book we're reading for my Patreon book club. We're meeting in a few weeks, so if you still want to join in, I'll have the link down below like I always do, and come join us. The book's only 250, 270 pages, and I am very excited to talk about it with people because I am just so interested. It's so good. Anyways, so I'm reading that. What else am I reading? So many things. I'm on my audiobook for the Asian Readathon. It's a memoir. It's really good. I'll talk about it more in the vlog, but I've been reading it, I think, for 3 days, and I'm probably going to finish it later today. It's fantastic and honestly really revealing about certain topics that I hadn't really thought much about. So like I said, I already talked about that more in another video, but that's my current audiobook, and I think that's it. I think those are all the things that I'm currently reading. So what am I thinking of reading next? Well, that kind of goes into the haul because 2 of these are things I'm thinking of picking up for the Asian Readathon because I bought them. One is Burning Roses by S.L. Wong, maybe? I haven't looked it up. I will correct that by the time I talk about this in either a weekly wrap-up or, the monthly wrap-ups I do. All I know is that this combines European and Chinese folklore, and it's a novella, and I'm obsessed with this cover. I'm obsessed. I saw this at the store. I was feeling like buying some books, and it hopped into my hands, and then Judith told me it was good, and so I kept it. Similarly, I have been told, even before BookTube, about Never Let Me Go. And I don't want to hear anything about this, so please do not comment any specifics about this book. I have heard over and over again that this is a book you should go into blind, and that's what I want to do before I accidentally get spoiled. And I know it's a sci-fi, and that's all I know. That's all I want to know, but I have had friends in real life tell me about this. I've seen it on bookstore shelves forever. So I'm probably trying to read this. Although this one is one of those books that looks shorter than it is. You'd look at this, you'd think 200 pages, and I think it's closer to 250. No, even longer. It's 280 pages. 288. And it doesn't look like it's 288. It's deceptive. It's a deceptive book. But I'm really excited. So maybe, try and get these 2 in this month for that vlog. And the last one I bought, I was thinking, I'm not reading this, and why am I not reading it? And that's The Unraveling by Karen Lord. And the reason I wouldn't be reading it is I hadn't bought a copy. And I could get it from the library, but who am I kidding? I just want to own it. I just want to own Karen Lord books, and I have another one on the way. And then I'll have all 4 of her books, and I'll be very excited and a very happy person. So what am I reading next, though, is the question. So like I said, one of these 2 I think is going to be coming up for the vlog. I'm reading Anne of Green Gables and Wild Seed, but after that, what should I do? And I have so many options, and maybe you guys can help me. But my options, I have 2 potential rereads that I need to get started sooner rather than later. I got Hero of Ages, and I've got the 5th season. I'm really feeling the 5th season, especially while I'm reading Wild Seed. I can just feel the influence of Octavia Butler in Jemison's work. It's just like, and it's in the best ways. Like, so I really want to get to this. I also have Hero of Ages, which it's been a long time since I've read Well of Ascension, and I'm really like itching to get back into that one. And then I've got Memories of Ice, which I do still want to start this month. I don't need to finish it this month, but I want to get started. So if you have opinions, let me know. I haven't decided yet, because realistically, I'm probably not going to be able to read anything until Monday, because I'm going out of town this weekend, and I'm going to spend time with Ryan, presumably. That's kind of the point of going out of town together. So I might read a little, but I'm not like, I'm not making as much time to read as I typically have in the past. So those are the reading plans. And then I got some stuff in the mail. So I kickstarted the Way of Kings leatherbounds, and it hit all the stretch goals. So you got like all these things, and they finally came in the mail. So I thought I'd show you some of them. Mainly what I want to show you is there's this deck of cards that they give us. And I'm a sucker for decks of cards. Like, I have loved cards forever. I would make card houses out of it. I've played spades, hearts, bridge. I love cards. I love shuffling cards. Not that I'll shuffle these, but they have some amazing art on them. I'm not going to say who any of these people are, per se, but, like, it's got some gorgeous art. Like, and these are all Stormlight Archive characters, and it's just, it makes me so happy. I'm just, and they feel really good too. Like this like feels like a deck of cards that presumably I could play, but I'm not going to play because, like, no, I can't ruin these. These are precious to me. So yeah, I just, it's so great. Oh, this is. Brandon Sanderson thinks these birds are the closest things to dragons and has somehow incorporated them into the Cosmere. It's quite fantastic. So I was most excited about these deck of cards. But there's other stuff, so let's see if I can get this to work. There's just so much paper. They packed it so well. So this is like a Cosmere pin. I'm not an unboxer, so you'll have to work with me. But this is a pin. I think it's supposed to represent the Cosmere, or actually, nope, it's supposed to represent maybe the Radiance. I don't know. I'm really bad at knowing the visuals for the lores of things. But it's cool. I like the pin. And then, what else is in here? Oh, there was something in here I really liked. This is silly. I'm not going to explain this, but this is pretty silly. This was a silly thing that, like, happened. But this one I really like, because there's a character named Wit in the books, so there's no spoiler there. And this is, like, a really solid coin. And so it's on one side it has one can have a wit, so it has Wit's face, and on the other side it says but not a wit less, and it has no one on the face. And I think it's meant to be just like a coin. You could like flip it, but I don't know, it came in a little pouch. So really high quality stuff. And then you got to choose your Knights Radiant, which like I'm either a Wind Runner or an Edge Dancer, and I think I lean more towards the ideals of a Wind Runner. If you know, you know. And we get a cute little pin for that, and it has the Windrunner symbol. And we get, like, a patch. So, in theory, if I remembered how to put patches on things, that was, like, a thing I knew how to do in, like, elementary school. Not really now. And then a coin based off the Herald for Windrunners, which is really cool. I think it's really pretty. Okay. Some other cool stuff that I think is pretty funny. I think I'll just show you guys the coasters, because otherwise everything else isn't as cool to me. It's at least, I'm a tactile person. I like to hold things. So there was a coaster set that you randomly got, and they're really funny. So this is called Chasm Fiend, and the back of it looks like this. And I just, when you've hit the storm wall, you know what to do. So like an energy drink. Not intended for airsick lowlanders. And that's the drink brand. Has to do with the thing. So this is like Coca-Cola, but read and find out. Raffo, that's what Sanderson always says when people have questions for him. He's like, Raffo. And so this is all spelled out. You deserve a nice cold can of read and find out. Spoiler free. The one-armed Herdazian. And it has, like, on the back, it has, like, a whole bunch of, like, fake drink recipes. I love that. So those are, like, the coasters, and you got, like, 2 of each. I don't think I'll ever use these as actual coasters. I wouldn't want to hurt them. I find them very amusing. So, yeah, and, like, they came with other art and things like that, but I'm not going to show that. But I just thought it was really fun. I forgot that was happening. Really obsessed with this deck of cards. But that's it, though. I just wanted to do a little bit of a sort of unboxing. I'm not... This is why you'll probably never see me open an Illumicrate box or anything. I am not good at those things. But if you've made it this far, put an emoji of a pancake, because I'm about to go to the best pancake place. Like, by the time you're seeing this video, I probably have had my pancakes. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. And let me know what you're planning to do this weekend. I might be longer answering to comments than I normally am, because like I said, I'm just going to enjoy my weekend. But I'm hoping you have a great one, and I look forward to seeing all the things you've been reading and doing when I get back. And with that, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!